Good to see you.
Everybody's great to see you.
If we circumvent our problems by automatic implementation, we don't care about the studies that we're doing, that is going to take away from the safety of that property. So that kind of
I never. This building, house.
We already passed on this house. So that's what we carried out last
So ACC hasn't taken it. And the fact that you're a member of, Structure to Association, ACC, Don Arnold used to be this.
I don't mean to be kicking you with my foot.
Oh,
I'm just used to talking my leg.
you were fine. I'm actually
That's probably what
I told him yesterday. I said, I know exactly what you're going to say. I said that he made a lot of
I'll be out of your hair. I don't have a staff and press pass, so I actually am not allowed to stand. So as soon as the meeting starts, just making sure everything's working. Do me a favor and try to not knock over the camera, because I can't fix it if it falls.
Yes, ma'am.
much more. That's usually for
We got a full crowd. Women already wearing different pairs.
If anybody wants to sign up to speak on the public hearing, sign up, sheet, get that done.
It just, I mean, the last time I presented something to you,
I must have come to you for that.
I won an award.
Signed up for the ACDC government.
If that happens, I'm retiring. I mean, somebody's coming to here.
Everything is, how's everything? I'm doing well. Yeah, I got my team sent me your schedule, so I'm gonna go out and see the season starts today.
If they end up doing good, we make sure we have some else to decide for them. I know you know that. I just turned that. Then he's the house member in your
I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Carnes, Representative Marcus.
Here.
Representative Ford. Representative Clark. Representative Ward.
Here.
Representative Colvin.
Here.
Representative Ensler.
Here.
Representative Gitley.
Here.
Representative Rigsby.
Here.
Representative Sellers. Representative Shiree.
Here.
Representative Stubbs.
Okay, thank you. If you'll go ahead and call the first bill up, please.
Sure, Senate Bill 186, Senator Chambliss.
Mr. Chairman, I'll carry this to council.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, 186 is basically the same bill as passed out this committee for the last 2 years, and it actually passed the House body for the last 2 years. And if there's any questions, I think we have an amendment. It applies to the
Everybody should have the amendment in the file.
It takes the public rights action out.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah, I've got an amendment here. You ready for me?
Yes, sir.
All right. It replaces line 136 through 164 on page 5 through 6 with the following. Section 6, the act shall become effective on October 1st.
So what this does, it takes out the public rights action, and it changes the effective date from June to October.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Got a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Now we're back on the bill. Anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Representative, and I certainly understand the intent. A few questions though. From last year, if I remember correctly, some of the questions were if these devices are being manufactured, say in China or somewhere overseas, but in Alabama we're requiring something specific on devices in our state, who's going to manufacture those and who's going to pay for that cost?
Okay, that's a good question, but it's the same phone. The phone you have in your pocket, if you have a phone, it's the same phone that everybody has all over the world. That's why when you set it up, you see it's got 200 languages on it. It's because it's the same phone. So this bill has been passed and it's already enacted in Utah. So we're not doing anything new this time. We would have been ahead of the game, but now we're following Utah.
So there's no additional cost into
You know, the filter's on the phone, it's a software update, and you know, that will apply to it. So it's geo-fencing and all that, so.
I know, Representative been working on this bill for quite a while, and I'm in favor of giving it a
You got a motion?
Question. So I've had Rep. Sales, some emails from constituents who are concerned that this is government overreach. How do you
Well,
respond
they
to
must
that?
not love the children, is all I can tell you.
Hello?
For us to allow this to happen for this many years, to me, is just unbelievable. I mean, we talk about children and what they see on their phone is just totally unbelievable. You think about what they see in your child and the people that are taking your child, I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I think it's filthy, and I don't think it's nothing for children.
Well, I think what they're feeling is that it's the parent's responsibility.
No, that's not happening. I mean, so is alcohol. I mean, so we could say, hey, y'all don't drink, but we regulate that. We could say, hey, y'all don't smoke, we regulate that. So I mean, if it's parent's responsibility, you go across the board.
Representative, so I know in the last few years we heard from opponents of the bill saying like logistically, they didn't think they could do this, like the phone manufacturers, like the AT&T, Verizon, some of those groups. I guess was this amendment kind of the compromise, but, or did they find out logistically they can do this? What kind of, I haven't heard from anybody about this.
Well, I think if you remember, they had testimony saying they couldn't do it. We had testimony saying they could do it.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, there's not anything phone can't do. I mean, really. And, so, right now with this amendment, we don't have any opposition. So I think we're in a good spot. Best spot we're in.
Go ahead.
One other question, as far as the filter and what content, I mean, I know, again, I get the intent of what it's trying to block out. What if a young person is, say, using their phone and they're researching something for school, like slavery or the Holocaust, and the filter determines that it's obscene?
So the phone has a filter, and it's called adult content. So, I mean, that could maybe apply at some point, but I don't think slavery's got anything to do with porn, you know, but I don't have any idea. It could apply, you know, but, I mean, nothing up here we do is 100%, nothing. But will this work 100%? Definitely not. Can they find a way to get around it? Sure, somebody can. But I think we need to do something.
Okay, I have a motion as, to give the bill a favorable report as amended. Do I have a second? A second by Representative Coleman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Abstain. Two abstain? Okay. Representative Inslee also abstained. Representative Horton made the motion, Representative Coleman made the second.
Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Representative Sullivan. All right,
You got a copy of the amendment. Well, it just strikes out all of the right of private action and change the effective date.
yes, ma'am. Go ahead and call up the next bill, please.
Senate Bill 212 by Senator Harlan.
City Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner, for allowing me to come and present SB 212. This is the companion bill to Representative Jamie Keel's bill HB 382. And we just passed that one in committee upstairs today, so I think we've got them both tracking. But anyway, what this bill does is it's a joint effort between the Real Estate Commission as well as the Realtors Association to address some issues out there, allowing failed payments to be handled through e-payments, dual agency changes, allowing agents to work under a branch office as long as it's the same broker. And then doing some updates to some of the regulation terms. We amended the bill in the Senate. I'm not sure if that's part of that packet right there, but that was where
It
we.
is engrossed.
Okay, so anyway, so the amendment, what that does, it just makes a few changes to address some of the issues from the Real Estate Commission and some of our real estate agents. We took out residential property because we didn't want to have to get into defining that. Also, we made it clear that if you operate as a team, that we're not going to require a regulatory fee or a license fee to do that. You can just operate. The broker's not required to submit any paperwork. They just have to maintain who's operating as a team. And then we, addressed one of the fine issues that, the real estate commission wanted to address by increasing the max or the cap on the fine from 2,500 to 5,000. Cause they felt like it was just at such a low level, some of these egregious, offenses. It gave them an opportunity to, hit them with a fine versus having to suspend a license. So, I'd be glad to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Treasurer Sherrill?
It's in gross, we don't have to vote on the amendment.
No, it's already in gross, so it's got passed down.
I'll make the motion to pay the report.
Can I have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Senator Carter.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee.
All right, next bill up, please. There's a public hearing, so we'll go ahead.
Next bill is House Bill 566 by Representative Easterbrook.
Okay. Representative Easterbrook, if you want to go ahead and come up and explain the bill. Now, we will not be voting on this bill after this. Chairman Corns typically does not do that. So, he had to step away at today's meeting, so we're gonna honor his wishes and just have the public hearing today. Representative Easterbrook?
This bill relates to building houses. Basically, the bill says that that a municipality or a county government can require you to get an engineer's stamp on a house under 3 stories. It means 2 stories or less. We built houses in this country for 250 years without engineers. And all the details for building the house is in the Home Builders Code. Builders take a test on, they have to certify on, and then the inspectors, where you have inspectors, they use the code also. Mobile and Baldwin County has decided that 100% of the houses have to be engineered, regardless of the wind code level requirements or anything, those are set by the municipality. They determine which wind level you build to. You can build it right out of the building book, out of the International Building Standards Code. When you go to an engineer and get a stamp on it, it's the same 3 pages on every set of plans that they copied out of the International Building Standards book, and you pay $5,000 to $10,000 for that. Especially for your lower income homes or mid-sized homes, those people will probably have an extra bedroom and pay for an engineer's stamp. And the house is going to be built exactly the same, no difference. The only difference down there, if you get to Mobile, Baldwin County, is the fortified. For a fortified gold home, the fortified requirement to go to gold is that it be engineered. This doesn't impact that at all. You can get fortified bronze without it being engineered, and the cost savings to go from bronze to gold for that engineer stamp is $61 a year on a 2,680 square foot house, brand new in Saraland, Alabama. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't spend $10,000 to save $61 a year, and then on top of that, for fortified gold, every 5 years, you have to renew it and go another $500. It's not very smart, in my opinion. But this bill is about the cost savings. The cost to build a house is more than doubled in the last 5 or 6 years. We just keep adding costs, adding fees from these municipalities and counties. And now we're adding this engineering cost, and the price to engineer a house in those 2 counties is up about 300%. And when I asked one of them, why is it up so much? He said, oh, we can get it. I said, well, we'll see what we'll let you get in the future. But it boils down to 2 things. Are you for big government or are you for small government? Are you for government telling you how to do everything? Our ancestors built houses without engineers. Those houses are still standing all over Mobile and Baldwin County in the high wind codes. After the storms, the municipalities raised the wind level that you have to build in Mobile and Baldwin County. You have to do all the strapping, all that stuff. It's in the building code. It helped dramatically. You can see it after a storm, and you see the houses that's been built they stepped up to those higher wind loads in the municipalities. But an engineer stamp didn't do that. It's when they said you have to build at 140-mile-an-hour wind code. You go to the building code book, and here's the requirements. All they're doing is copying that out of the building code book and giving you 3 pages with a stamp on it and handing you a bill for $10,000. Building codes, all the details on how to build a house at any wind level is in the International Building Standards Code, up to 140. After 140, it refers you to, you have 4 options. One is the wood frame tables. One is to hire an engineer. They're saying, up for the 4 options, you can only choose the one, the most expensive, to hire an engineer. If you have the same house built 3 times, they are so brazen with it, they say, no, it's site-specific now. They don't come out and look at your site. You have to pay for the engineering on 3 different houses for the exact same set of plans. They've engineered these, and all the details are exactly the same on every set of plans. A few things that this bill will not do, that they have spread information on. If you're in an area that does not have inspectors, you will not be required to have an inspector. Nothing has changed. It's supported by the home builders and the realtors. It's common sense to me. It's a cost savings of time, and costs are out of control anyway. And it's about whether or not you want the government to tell you how to do everything. Why don't they decide we all have to drive a Volvo instead of whatever you choose?
Yes, sir. We'll save questions for after the public hearing. We have 5 people signed up for opponents and 2 for the proponents. So what we're going to do for those who, Kurt's going to call you up. If you're an opponent, you're going to have 2 minutes. If you're a proponent, you're going to have 3 minutes. So clerk, please call the first person up.
Greg Robinson.
And while you're coming up, I'm going to go ahead and say she's going to have a timer. And when it goes off, whether it's mid-sentence or not, it's over. And we appreciate it.
Greg Robinson. I've been practicing structural engineering for over 40 years. I'm licensed in multiple states. I have performed house design on the beach, North Alabama, all over the country, as a matter of fact. The thing, I was prepared to give different testimony, but I want to address a couple of things with you guys to make sure you understand the uniqueness about the building code. Because right now, everything is correct. There is an international residential code, and 90%, 95% of the buildings should be just picked straight out of that residential code. That's not a problem. But there are unique circumstances that do need to be addressed by the building official who will call on structural engineers and architects to do those. It's not something I make my living at, but it is something that the public needs to be aware, and the building official needs to have addressed to ensure the safety of the occupants of these buildings and the property value stays good. Beachfront erosion is always a problem, along with wave scour, wave impact. Now that's the beach, and I understand we're excluding Baldwin County and Mobile County. But you also have flooding inland. You also have special foundation concerns when it involves plastic soils, heaving, and things like that. That's when the building official will come back and say, hey, Greg, would you have somebody look at this? We may need a post-tension slab. That's not in the residential code. That requires a little design from your structural engineer. Deep foundations, or when you have a lot of fill on your beneath your house and everything, you're subject to settlement. Sometimes that needs to be investigated, or the owner ends up, having brick crack around his house, or even floor slab. In Birmingham, we have the Red Mountain Slide Zone. That involves some soil next on the north side of Red Mountain that is sensitive, and you have to have special foundations on that. It's not in the residential building code. You have also seismic considerations, and you also have framing plans. There's a lot of unscrupulous people that will go out there and hire some
Tom, thank you so very much for your time.
Andrew Elliott.
If you don't mind telling everybody who you are and where you're from, please.
Is that before the clock starts?
Yeah, that's good.
I'm Andrew Island, from Opelika, Alabama. I'm also a licensed structural engineer in multiple states. I work with Harvest Engineering, and I'm here today representing, I'm a board member of the Structural Engineers Association of Alabama. And that is my bio. I've got 9 years practicing experience.
Thank you. You can go ahead.
All right. So like I said, that was my quick bio. Some personal experience. My exposure to designing single-family homes is limited because, kind of despite what Representative Easterbrook said, most, in line with what Mr. Robinson said, most single-family homes do not require engineering. There's a prescriptive residential code that most single-family homes comply with, and for that reason, most practicing structural engineers aren't doing many single-family home designs. The times when that design is required and is merited is often brought to that fact by the building official, because the building official understands their community, they understand the geography that they live in, the geology that they live in, the communities that they live in, the people that they serve, the home builders that they work with. They understand their jurisdiction, and they are a nominated official who serves their community. So they understand that locale. Mr. Robinson kind of laid out some specific things, in our state of Alabama. North Alabama specifically has some high seismic region. It's a fancy word for earthquakes. South Alabama obviously has hurricane-prone regions and high wind areas, which Representative Easterbrook did acknowledge. Central Alabama, where we are right here, has expansive clays and expansive soils that have unique foundation considerations. So there are reasons where, at the discretion of the building official, who his role in both the IBC and the IRC, which is building and residential codes respectively, is to enforce the code and protect the public safety. And for us as engineers, all we are trying to do is promote public health and welfare. And so, to address, I guess I wanted to address one comment about big and small government. On the scale of addressing big and small government, if we're going to pass a state law that would remove authority from a local building official and have that authority be placed in the state, that feels like a bigger state, bigger government decision, rather than allowing these decisions to be made on local municipality level type decisions. I will also speak from some experience having forensic engineering experience. I've been called many times by insurance companies, attorneys, home builders, and homeowners to evaluate failing structures. So,
thank you so much for coming.
You got it.
Next, we'll have a proponent.
Jeremy Walker.
Mr. Walker, you're going to have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Jeremy Walker with the Alabama Association of Realtors. We speak in favor of the bill. Big picture, we believe this is part of a broader problem at the local level on over-regulating our builders, and that is directly leading to higher home prices. It is getting harder and harder for builders to deliver a home that's safe, that's quality, at an affordable price point. So when we hear about affordable housing, this is one component of that. We very much appreciate Representative Easterbrook for bringing this bill forward on that. We do acknowledge from a public safety standpoint, you want to have building codes that are complied with. There are nuances around the state. If you live within 100 miles of the coast, we've had great success with the Fortified program. Baldwin County has become a model for the rest of the country on helping lower insurance rates, storm damage when we have major disasters. But those can be case-by-case basis, not for every home, not indiscriminately from the southern end of the county all the way up to Bay Minette and northern part of the county and up near Clark County as well. Other parts of the state, it may not be necessary to overregulate like this. To require an engineering or architectural report for a basic single-family 2-story home, we believe, is overkill and adds unnecessary costs to this. We would ask that hopefully next week when the bill's considered to advance and add a committee. We're very realistic about the calendar this year. We know there's not enough time for it to pass, but maybe that will allow some constructive dialogue during the off season, because our ask is more consistency from our partners at the city and county level. They're doing a good job. They have a job to do to protect consumers and be sure that people are building the right way. But we do believe there's a lot of opportunity for dialogue during the off season. Hopefully we can come back with a solution next year. We would have asked you to please consider passing this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Next, we're going to have another opponent.
Emily Holly.
My name is Emily Hawley. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of Alabama. I'm specifically a structural engineer. I'm also a member of the board for the Structural Engineers Association of Alabama. I'm a young member director. And I thought it was very important for me to be here today. They asked me to come to voice our concerns for the safety of the people that are presented from this bill. Thank you. So like I said, we have concerns for the safety of the public. This bill aims to limit the ability of local authorities to issue requirements for their communities. So again, big government versus small government, it should be the local authorities who know their communities on a more granular level that can make requirements that suit their constituents' needs. This bill would tie the hands of the authorities having jurisdiction, the counties and municipalities, in ways that prevent them from making policies specific to their area, including the freedom to require enhanced design practices for certain residential structures. Again, that small percentage that Greg mentioned where it's actually required for health and safety of the public. The definition of a 3-story structure used in this bill as opposed to the previous 2,500 square feet leaves a lot of room for interpretation and different types of structures. For example, as it stands, it would not include necessarily a single-story house on 10 to 15 foot concrete columns, or a house that's being supported by a tall retaining wall on a steep slope. Would you not want an authority having jurisdiction to be able to require an engineer design for those columns or that retaining wall if it was your house or your neighbor's? This is a matter of life safety, and there are plenty of details that are not included in those kind of residential codes. If this bill passes, the local authorities having jurisdiction would not be allowed to make more specific requirements that can include nuanced definitions that are appropriate for, say, Mobile County compared to Jefferson County. And last I saw, the exception was for Baldwin County only, not Mobile County as well. Additionally, again, big government will be supporting this bill and taking away the rights of the localities to serve their constituents. Cost was mentioned a few times. I practice in commercial construction, where a typical guideline might be that our fee is 1/2 of 1% for the cost of construction. I can't speak to residential, but what is the cost of safety? What is the cost of a family's home? What is the cost of a child's life in these situations? This is a public safety issue. As engineers, we are ethically and professionally obligated to hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public. And that's why I'm here today, to encourage the committee not to take away the rights of authorities having jurisdiction to require the services of architects and engineers for residential structures as they see fit. Please don't prevent us as engineers from doing our work to protect the public where they should feel safest and safe in their homes. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
We'll save those until
Eddie Harper.
I'm Eddie Harper. I'm a building official for Baldwin County, but I'm here today representing the Alabama Gulf Coast chapter of the ICC. We consist of probably over 100 different, together, building officials, inspectors, architects, engineers, and contractors from that area along the Gulf Coast region. Just everything's been said today that I really wanted to say. I do want to say that we strongly oppose this bill. And I'm going to give you a map, and then I'm going to read you exactly what the building code says. And this building code is also adopted by the state as well. If you don't mind if I hand this out. Thank you. The building code says that section 301.2.1.1, a design professional is required for wind design when the ultimate design wind speed equals or exceeds 140 miles an hour. And that map shows you where the 140, I know it's hard to read, but that's straight from the code. I didn't want to manipulate it in any way. That is straight from the code book that's adopted by the state and adopted by pretty much every county and municipality across the country that enforces building codes. But it says that it is required, design professional is required to design when the wind speed is equal to or exceeds 140 miles an hour. So we don't have a choice. That we cannot use the code book. The code book stops at 140 miles an hour telling us how to do our job. And so we have to rely on the professionals at that point in time. Most of all Baldwin County, Mobile County, and some of Escambia County is all above that 140-mile-an-hour threshold. And so I think the bill does, just as the lady said before, it only excludes Baldwin County, which I would love to know how that logic was, come up with, to only exclude Baldwin when Mobile and parts of Escambia is in the same wind area. So, again, we strongly, oppose the bill, and any bill that is passed or any amendment that might be made needs to be based off of the history that comes from the building code that has been put together over years and years and years of historical data. And so with that, like I said, this is about life safety, and that's all it's about. It's not about big building, it's not about money, it's not about anything, it's about life safety. And I'll be available for questions. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just a point of clarity, where is that code that you read from?
It's in the International Residential Building Code.
Is there like a section or anything?
Yes, sir, it's section 301.2.1.1. 301.2.1.1.
Thank you.
And that's in the 2024 because each year, the code, every 3 years, a new code comes out.
Okay.
And sometimes the section might be a little different.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead with another proponent.
Jason Reed. Jason Reed.
Okay, moving on to the next opponent.
Adam Kilpatrick.
Good afternoon. My name is Adam Kilpatrick, and I'm with the Alabama League of Municipalities. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. The league is opposed to HB 566. This bill would prohibit any county or municipality from acquiring the approval of a registered architect or professional engineer on plans for the construction of a single-family residence under 3 stories in height, excluding Baldwin County. This would bring a one-size-fits-all approach that could be detrimental for the state. Local municipal authority is needed as each area has unique needs. For example, the southern part of the state deals with hurricanes. This legislation could impact the progress we've made with the Fortified Homes Initiative. Other parts of the state have steep slopes, which could require an engineering staff to ensure their safety. Municipalities have denser populations. If a home collapses, it can directly affect neighboring properties. Without approval, fly-by-night operators can come into communities and take advantage of its system. These existing requirements ensure the safety of Alabama citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Representative Easterbrook, anybody have any questions? Dr. Sherry?
Make some comments.
Go ahead and make a comment, and then we'll get to Dr. Sherry.
All right, they talk about slopes and stuff like that. That's site engineering. That's not plan engineering. Plan engineering, you take your plans, they don't come to your site. Any building official that suggests that you should have that done, you should listen to them. And if I was gonna build a house that was on the side of a mountain, yes, I would tell the homeowner, you need to have it engineered. They say one size fits all. That's exactly what they're doing. One size fits all, you engineer it 100% of them. That sounds like one size fits all to me. Decision is not being made by local officials. It's made as one size fits all. If I was gonna build on the beach, I would darn sure, and I have built on the beach numerous times. I've suggested every one of them be engineered, including a site engineering for washing, anything like that, a foundation.
Okay, thank you. Representative Sherry.
So you're saying all this is in the International Building Code. So if Mobile is under that 140 and that's in the code, why is Mobile not excluded when Baldwin County was?
Mobile, all of Mobile is not above 140.
It looks like it to me.
I'm telling you, I build houses in Mobile County. I'm telling you it's not.
Is this not the right?
I don't know where
Somebody help me here, because
Yes, sir. It's
I don't know where it
straight
came
from the 2024 building code that's adopted by most,
2024 is not adopted yet by Mobile County.
It's not adopted by Mobile, I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
It says law.
Here you go.
I have to follow
You
you.
want to see this? Yes, sir.
Why did we exclude Baldwin County?
Because the representatives there listen to the, League of Municipalities and to their local officials were opposed to it. That's simple. Follow through.
Follow up to that. So we exclude Baldwin County for the municipality piece, but not under the county. So the county commission in Baldwin County would still have to abide by this law, but the cities in Baldwin County would not, because they're only excluded under section 1. In section 2, when it applies to the county government, they're not excluded.
Well, they will be.
So Orange Beach
It's
cannot,
not
Orange Beach is excluded and Gulf Shores is, but Baldwin County commission would not.
I would be highly surprised to find out that North Baldwin County was above 140 miles an hour. It wasn't before. It wasn't 2 years ago.
It does not appear to be.
It is not.
I'm just
The
wondering why.
line goes pretty much through the middle of Bay Minette, the city of Bay Minette. So there is
That's where they would
a
see
small
those.
tip
That's
of
where
Baldwin
they-
County that's from one.
I'm just saying more clear, like if we're gonna exclude the cities involved.
So the
then it
one
should
size
exclude
fits all is
commission
the
too.
ones north of Bay Minette, they have to fit in, even though they're.
Anybody else have a question?
So just because I don't understand, so I understand your point about construction plans versus site plans.
Yep.
The definition of construction plans, does that include site plans?
No, it's blueprints.
I mean, just by clarity of, because words matter.
You don't have to have a site plan to build a house.
So that's,
The only site plan you get is when you take it to the draftsman, and they use a map to draw where the house is gonna sit on, and nobody's coming out to look at the site. When you go to the building official, or if you got a builder that's got any sense, and he starts digging and there's nothing but muck down there, then you call an engineer. I've called them, shut the project down today. We need an engineer. Let's have this a site survey.
Representative Cole?
And this does not apply to condos on the beach or commercial buildings, simply a single family dwelling, correct?
Under 3 stories.
Under 3 stories.
Which means 2 stories and above.
Yeah, I'd like to know this. I know, like, in the Madison County area, I know we build, on a mountainside or something like that. They specifically say, all right, if you build in this area, then you have to have it engineered. So.
But not for the plans, for the site.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
One final question.
Okay, go ahead.
You said the representatives from Baldwin County didn't like this. Have you talked to the representative from Mobile County? Because I don't think they're gonna like it either.
2 of them.
This is the first time I've seen it, so, and I haven't heard from you either. So,
I talked to 2 of them.
A couple questions. This bill doesn't keep you from using an engineer.
No, in no
And
way.
the other question is, how would this affect insurance? Your insurance policy, the insurance premiums, et cetera?
It does not.
Because
if you build to a fortified roof, the insurance is less. But you don't have to have an engineer to do that. If you build fortified gold, you save about $60 a year. And you have to have an engineer to do that. But you don't have to have an engineer to do the fortified projects.
All right, seeing no further questions, this public hearing is over and we are adjourned. Thank you, Representative Easterly.
If you'll get all the I'm sure that.